Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today's video, we're going to be talking about K-Beauty lip stains again. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today we're going to be doing part 2 of my K-Beauty lip stain, lip tint, lip product trial. I did part 1 of this last month, so I'll make sure to link that in the description box down below. And today's video is going to be part of my little dedicated K-Beauty week that I'm doing on the channel this week. So every single video that I have been posting this week has been about K-Beauty products because I just love them and I think they need a lot more hype. I do have an affiliate code with YESSTYLE, which is where I've purchased all of these products myself. These weren't sent in PR. The only reason why I have an affiliate code with them is because I've shopped so much on there. So yeah, if you want to get 5% off, you can enter this code, but there's also going to be a link in the description box down below. So if you want to shop any of these, then of course you can, and that would greatly help me out and support the channel. So let me just get into these lip stains, but before we do that, it may be good to know where this channel is coming from, where I'm coming from when I'm reviewing makeup. I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, which just very much influences how I feel about makeup, and it's been the reason why I started dipping my toes into K-Beauty products, because they do a lot of stuff that I think is great for people with lighter skin tones for sure. I have been reviewing makeup for more than a decade. I like getting the use out of my makeup. I love Essence and Catrice, and I love talking about eyeshadow palettes. So I hope you're here for that. If you'd like to join the Snow Angel family, all you need to do, click subscribe down below. I am already wearing something because I filmed this entire makeup look for you, and that already went live earlier in the week. So if you want to see how I created this makeup look, what's on my eyes, then I can refer you to that video. And in that video, I applied the Peripera Mood lipstick. This was from their Fall in Acorn collection that they did in a fall collection. And it's a really, really pretty neutral on me. In real life, when I look in the mirror, it looks far more neutral than it does on camera. It looks a bit more warm-toned on camera than it does when I look at it here in my mirror. It definitely has a bit more of a cooler undertone, and it's just one of the best My Lips But Better shades that I have found in a long time. Also, because a lot of these products are Korean, a lot of the names are written only in Korean, so I'll make sure to list everything in the description box down below for the full names and shade names and all that, because very often the shade name isn't on the packaging anywhere, or I can't read it because I don't read Korean. So I'll just make sure all that information is down below. I was starting off with a product that I didn't love. I tried all of these at least once before sitting down to film this video. This is the Amuse, and I really, really like their Dew Tints. I have another one of those coming up in a minute, but this is one of their Velvet Tints, so this is more mattifying, and I just felt that this wasn't doing enough for me. So this shade, again, I don't really know. It says here's 08. And the shade itself, like, there's nothing wrong with it. It looks like it's really pretty, but I felt it didn't really go on very well for me. Also, because these all have a certain level of staining to my lips, this is my natural lip color. Please remember, because this is gonna disappear very quickly. And there isn't a single makeup remover that is really good at taking it off, unless you use something that has a lot of oil in it, and then I would ruin the rest of my makeup. So that's not gonna work if I wanna switch from shade to shade. So I have my trusty makeup wipes, and I'm hoping for the best. So this is what that Amuse Velvet Tint looks like once it's on the lips. It's very pretty if I look at it in the viewfinder. If I look at it in real life, it just looks a little bit patchy. There are like certain parts of my lip that it doesn't really want to adhere to. And also my lips just naturally have quite a lot of pigmentation to them. They're quite dark naturally, and this is almost a little bit too natural for me. It just doesn't do enough. I'd like it to do just a little bit more, which is why I'm putting this one on first, because even though it does stain, it doesn't change the color of my lips as much as some of the other ones I know can do. So this is a really lovely product, but I do feel that I like the Dew Tints better because they're also a little bit more hydrating. This is a little bit weirdly drying on my lips. I can feel it drying down as I'm speaking, and I don't love that sensation either. So for me, the Amuse Dew Tints, yes, but the Velvet, No. And you can tell, like, the velvet is frosted and the dew tint isn't. So let's talk about that dew tint. I believe that this is in a shade, ooh, this does have the shade on it. It's Fig Dew. And I love this thing. I already liked the other one I had, which was this very sort of brighter pink shade that I showed you in the previous video. This is more neutral and I really like it. This is one of my favorite formulas. I can now say that like very firmly now that I've tried 2 of the shades. And I may actually have placed an order on YESSTYLE where I've purchased some more of these because I just like them so much. So that's Fig Dew. It's like a rosy brown and it's pooling towards a red, but it's not quite red. But this is like, it's like a neutral version of a red for me. So if I want a red that's a little less impactful, I would go for something like this. It looks perhaps a bit more brown toned in the tube than it does once it's on my lips. I definitely think my natural lip color kind of skews the way this kind of goes on. So maybe if you don't have a cooler undertone, that this may actually look more warm toned, or maybe if your lips aren't as pigmented, this can actually look different. But I love this formula. It's very hydrating on the lips. It doesn't have that weird dry down. Your lips stay feeling slippy, and as we will see with some of the later ones that I have to show you, this doesn't look weird when you put your lips together. I have some of the more classic lip stains in this video again as well, and with those I had the issue that they barely stayed put on my top lip unless I sat like this for like a full minute and not with my lips not touching at all. But with this you can instantly do everything again and it's just going to sink in. I love this. Oh, chef's kiss. Love this one. And just from having it on for just a few minutes, my lips already start to be looking a little bit stained. Then a bit of a one-off brand. I have a lot of Romand in this roundup, and I have one by 3CE because that's a brand I wanted to try. This is their Blur tint, I believe it's called. Does it have a name? It's in the shade Double Wind, and it was described as a mauve. This is very pretty, but it wasn't my favorite. Again, this has that weird dry down texture that I don't always love about a lip stain, but it was very pretty on. So with this, I really like the look. It has this really nice, almost velvet look to the lips, which I really enjoy. I do really like this shade as well, but this has a really weird scent as well. I am quite sensitive to scents most of the time. I don't mind some scents, and others are just a complete no-go, and this is verging on that complete no-go realm. It smells like alcohol. It smells like a pina colada. That's how I would describe it. So I feel like there's a fragrance there to mask some of what's in the formula. And it kind of, if you've ever smelled rubbing alcohol and the feeling it gives in your throat, that's the feeling I get in the back of my throat when I put this on, which I do not enjoy. So I like the shade. I definitely like the formula and the way it looks on the lips. But just for that scent alone and the way it kind of makes me feel, I would say skip this one. Is it a lovely product? For sure. If you're not that sensitive to scents, I think you may enjoy this a lot. And not that strong of a staining effect, because I feel I see more of the stain from the Amuse than I do of the 3CE that's still left. Now I hope this one still shows up on my lips. This is by Romand, and this is one of 5 Romand lipsticks I have to show you. This is their Dewy Full Water Tint, and I think they're all a slightly different finish. Yes, they're all, they are all a different formula, you could say, with like different levels of intensity and staining effect. This is from their Milk Grocery collection, I believe. Does it have a shade name? I think it's in shade 11. Not sure. Oh yeah, 11. Lilac Cream. It's actually on the side of the bottle. So you might think, is it white? No, it's this really, really pretty, cool toned, purpley pink, you could say, because it's very sort of veering towards lilac. It's very light though, and I felt it was perhaps a little bit too light for my natural lips, which is why I was saying I hope it still shows up on my lips now that they've stained a little bit darker. But yeah, this is very pretty. If you want something that's incredibly light on the lips, this can really work for you. I think we can see the shade just a little bit, but not enough. But I felt I didn't really see this shade anyways when I applied it on my natural lips, and there wasn't another lip stain underneath it. But this formula, it's so beautiful. It feels like liquid silk on your lips. Like if you know those liquid silky kind of products for your hair, it has that texture, but it needs to go onto the lips, and it feels very pleasant. No weird scent. I was afraid that because it was part of a special edition that they might have put some sort of fragrance in there, but there isn't. Yes, it does have a bit of a dry down, but not a nasty one. In terms of like being similar to the Amuse Dew Tint, I think this comes pretty close in the way it feels going on. And this, it's like a liquefied lip balm. That's the texture. So I may just want to keep this in like the lip balm section of my makeup collection rather than in the lipstick, because it is just a touch too light, but it's going to be great for no makeup days. Like if I just want to put something on my lips and I don't want to faff around, that can be a good one. It's a good alternative to my Dior Lip Glow oil. It's not a lip oil at all, and it does a little bit more than the Dior lip oil for sure. But I think this is a good alternative to that. Another Romand one, this is their Zero Velvet Tint. This is in the shade Vintage Taupe, and I have finally found a shade in this formula that I do like on me. I had a couple of these. There was a set of 4 that I purchased previously, and out of that set, there was only one shade I liked on myself, and it was very similar to one of my favorite Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. So that's why I didn't want to keep that around in my collection. However, I love the formula so much that I knew I had to try and find another shade that would be a bit more unique to me. Now, this isn't a taupe at all. I was hoping it could be like a cool tone brown, but it's actually more like your warmer tone brown, but it does have something that adds a bit more interest and that makes this a bit more unique. You can just see, like in the tube, it looks a lot more cool tone, but that's because the bottle is frosted. This is what it would look like. So it's more like a reddish tone brown, like a chestnutty kind of shade. For the full time, this is stunning. This is what the Zero Velvet Tint in Vintage Taupe looks like on me. I like this. Like I said, it's very spicy. It's more of a fall shade for sure. It doesn't go with the blush that I'm wearing. It's far too bright. But this was more of like a peachy tone blush, I think can look really, really stunning on. And this formula is out of this world amazing. It has that same level of slip to it that the other one had that I was putting on just before this, but this is more impactful. It definitely has more pigment. It's more like a liquefied lipstick than anything else. However, I feel that in terms of its staining ability, it doesn't do a whole lot, which is why I'm putting it in the first half of this video, because I know that when I take this off, it pretty much comes clean off. And I have some true lip stains that are really gonna sink into the lips that I'm saving towards the end because they're impossible to take off. And then I think something that perhaps looks very similar to Vintage Taupe, but it's the Milk Tea Velvet Tint in Rose Tea. And this is another like rosy, warm tone sort of vibe. It's a slightly different formula to the Zero Velvet Tint. It's more going towards a tint, a lip stain kind of thing. It's even a little bit more liquidy, you could say, but I feel it has a similar level of impact as the Zero Velvet Tint has for sure. And I also really like this shade on me as well. Again, a little bit more spicy, so more for the fall time for me. So there's a few things that are different about this Milk Tea Velvet Tint compared to the other ones I've just talked about. Those I said were a little bit slippy. This feels like a mousse. It feels like a rich moussey texture, and I feel it has a cocoa scent to it. It's not overly sweet. It's what you smell if you open a bag of cocoa and you stick your nose in. You get a whiff of that as you're putting it on, and it disappears immediately. So it does have a bit of a sweeter scent, but look at how stunning that is. Like the amount of pigmentation, it fills in all of the little lines I have in my lips. I mean, I'm going towards 40 as we're speaking. That sounds a bit scary to say, but yeah, that's my age, you could say. I'm in my late 30s. So I have some lines in my lips, and especially these like more liquidy lip tints that I will be showing you in a minute don't do anything to fill up any of those gaps. This, it makes your lips look super smooth. It does feel a little bit thicker and heavy on the lips than anything I've shown you so far. But this is again more like a liquefied lipstick. Again, I can wipe this off and it's not gonna stain too heavily compared to some of the other things I still have going on. So this is more like liquefied, very creamy lipstick, you could say. We are at the halfway point. I've talked about 6. We're going to be talking about another 6, and these are all the more liquidy variety. So I have found a formula that I like equally as much as the Amuse Dew Tints, and it's by Romand. It's their Glasting Water Tint. I don't know what they put in this, but it's so stunning. It has that little bit of shine. It does stain your lips. I have mine in the shade Vintage Ocean. Again, that order where I'm getting some more of the dew tints, I've put in some more of these because I just love it so, so much. So this is absolutely stunning. Again, a little bit more spicy. A lot of K-beauty shades tend to be more on the warm tone side, but I love this thing. So when you say lip stain or lip tint to me and you tell me about this, then this is what I would expect. It takes a few layers to go on opaque. You can definitely just apply this in, for instance, the center of the lip, smack your lips together and make more of an ombre lip very easily. This still has a very nice rich and creamy texture, very similar to the Amuse Dew. Look at the shine, I love it. This isn't so staining that you cannot blot it in with a lip or with a tissue. I find there is no issue with that. I love this shade on me. It goes with my shirts really, really well. And with my hair color, I think. Again, more of a spicy, not quite red kind of shade, but this I love. Again, this does have a bit of a scent. It has that sweeter scent. I can't really place it. It's like a fruity sort of scent that this has. But yeah, I don't mind it that much. It's not like candy overly sweet. It's not overpowering, but I can sort of taste it in my mouth, if that makes sense. The final Romand product I have for you is their Juicy Lasting Tint, and this is in Peeling and Dew. That's, number 24. This is also pretty, but I think I like the Glasting, what's it called again? Glasting Water Tints, this one. I just like the formula a little bit better than I do this, but this is really pretty too. And this also smells fruity, but this has a much stronger scent. And I think because I believe this variety comes in a ton of shades and they all have fruity names. And I'm suspecting that the name has to do with the scent that this has. It is quite strong, but it's pleasant. For some reason, I don't mind this as much because it's not a sickly sweet smell. It's like a fresh, like you've just, you know, if you've just squeezed a lemon, that sort of scent. So the Juicy Lasting Tint is really pretty as well. I do feel that I have quite a few similar shades in this video today. There isn't nothing that's very outstanding in terms of like shade range. But this is just what I gravitate towards when it comes to these K-beauty lines. This sort of like warmer, rosy, leaning towards red, but with a bit of like a brown undertone. I feel that this isn't as shiny as the Glasting Water Tint is. It's a bit more of that smooth, sort of silky feel that I have described the other ones having as well. But that does have more of a dry down. You can like feel this sinking into your lips. So I'm going to take this off so I can still apply the other ones because I've got 4 more. And then a product I didn't think I was going to like, a very affordable K-beauty brand is McQueen. Or McQueen, I'm not sure how to say it. This is their cotton tint in the shade Burgundy. And this looked really stunning on. It's more of a matte finish again, and it comes in this really, really cute vial-like thing with a tiny little doe foot, and I thought this was a very pretty red. I only have reds left, you guys. Boom. Great classic red, stunning formula. Still has a bit of slip to it. It's just a liquid lipstick, you could say. This is not much of a lip tint in that sense. It's definitely a lip stain because this is going to be very difficult to remove in a minute. But the other ones that I have are even more difficult to remove, so I'm definitely trying to work my way into that. But I think this shade is stunning. It's not as dark as it looks in the bottle. that's for sure. It's more of a classic red, but it has this level of depth that I don't see a lot of affordable brands do. They very often do classic reds in like your brighter, more blue tone section, or maybe something that's a bit more orange toned. But this sort of like level of depth, I don't very often find in more affordable makeup brands. And I think that this is on par with something like my Lisa Eldridge Velvet Jazz lipstick. I've just got my hands on Velvet Duchess, which is looking like something that this might do. Is it a true burgundy? No, I think it should be darker. Like if it would go on the lips the way the bottle looks, then yes, maybe you can build it up to that level of intensity. I wouldn't recommend it because, as you can see, it's already sort of getting into the corners of my mouth because this does slide around a little bit before it has fully settled down. It does, when you wipe this off, there is a sort of red stain that is going to be left behind as well because it does tint your lips, which is why I'm going to be taking it off. It's been on for like, what, 2 minutes? Less? So this is the best I can do. And it was on there for like, what, less than a minute? And you get this level of staining. Love it. We love long-lasting lip around here. Then finally, I just have some of these like liquidy things, like water things. Another one by McQueen, one by The Face Shop, and my favorite by Etude House. Let's talk about this. This is really stunning as well. This is the Gelling Plumping Water Tint by McQueen. And is it in a shade? It is, but there's a sticker, like a number over it. So I'll pop it in the description box down below. This is that true like classic watery lip stain that if you think of like a classic lip stain, this is what I would think of. This you have to be careful with. With all three of these, if you go too close to your lip line, it could feather out. So with this, if you have a clear or perhaps a nude eyeliner or lip liner, or like a red lip liner, that can help. Like the waxiness of those liners can help to keep the product in your lip line and then not bleeding outside of it, because it can sort of get into like the crevices of your lips and you can just see this like feathering, which is not that pretty. So you have to be careful with these, but they do last a long time. I'm not sure you can see. It's really pretty, but I struggle with this, like applying it to the top lip. And don't apply it all the way into your lip corners because it's gonna get messy. Right now it's not really doing that, maybe because I already have such a strong stain from the other lipstick just now. I love the shade. This is a great, more orange toned red. It's very impactful. Love these two McQueen products that I finally got to try. But this and the other two even more. When this first goes on before it dries down, you have to sit like this for like a minute, because if the minute your lips touch, wherever your lips are touching, the product will disappear. So that's perhaps good to know about this one. This shade. Loving this shade. So I've painted over whatever was left on my foundation brush from doing my makeup earlier, just to tone it down a little bit because it was that stained. I'm going to be doing the Face Shop one next. This one was the worst in terms of like the transfer when your lips touch together. So maybe I can demonstrate it with this. It's the Face Shop Water Fit Tint in the shade Cherry Kiss. Again, super pretty, more of a pinky toned red. The other one was more orange toned. This one is a bit more pink toned. It reminds me of a ripe cherry, so the name is very much on point. I don't love the sticker though, so let me take that off. And something that, oh, see, I'm covered, look, I'm covered in lip stain now. Something I don't like about this though is the scent. This smells like cough syrup. Don't love the scent. It disappears really quickly, so I'll definitely wear this more often. I wore this one to work and a lot of colleagues said, well, that lip looks good on you. And it wore a long time because I didn't have to, like, it wasn't until dinner I was like, oh, maybe I should touch it up. And finally, the Etude Dear Darling tint. So they have a lot of them. I tried two of the other Etude House lip tints in my previous video, and I think this is my favorite of the three. This is in the shade Dracula. and it's dark, but it's not as dark as it looks in the tube. Like, it looks black here, but it's like a really nice deep red. It is, again, very watery and it goes everywhere if you're not careful, but it definitely does stain your lips, and this is very long lasting. Now this one is the strongest when it comes to that transferring that I've described. So you can just sort of see, I guess, that there's more of a darker ring around the edge. The only way to get rid of it is to tap it in with fingers. And then you're left with this on your fingers and it won't come off. It just won't come off. Even if you wash your hands, you really need to scrub it down with a scrubber in order to get this thing off. This does have the weirdest scent ever. It's not alcohol, but it has that very classic scent. I'm not sure if anybody remembers this, but way back in the Twilight days, which is when I first got into makeup, there was a lip stain by a brand called Doo-Wop that had that tingling sensation as well. And that one I also had the issue with, that I didn't stay put on my top lip. And the scent of this very much reminds me of that one. It's this very sort of, again, sort of cough syrup, very medicinal kind of scent to it. This also goes all over my teeth because of the way it sort of bleeds. It kind of gets into my mouth, so I have to wipe off the inside of my mouth. But then we are left with this. You know, we are left with a really stunning, darker, almost berry sort of look, which I hadn't expected from a lip stain. Like, usually they're like classic red, but this has that more depth to it. Maybe it's now also because I've applied all those other things on top, but I have worn this by itself and it looks stunning. So looks-wise, those final three are absolutely stunning. They can be a little bit difficult to like apply, and once they're on, they won't budge because like my fingers, oh boy. But yeah, I think they're really lovely. This, I think, had even more lip stains and lipsticks that I really enjoyed from K-beauty brands. I think these things are lovely. If you're looking for something truly, truly long lasting and you don't want it to budge, then something like this. Like with some of these like darker lipsticks, it can sometimes be a challenge to wear them all day because as you're eating, it goes all over your face. It transfers to the bottom of your nose if you've had a sandwich. That's not the case with these. These stay on, and as they wear, it's sort of like rubbing off a layer of the color because this sinks into the skin, and that's what sort of is left. So you can wear this for hours on end. They are easy to touch up, I find. Like if you just add another layer, it's back to full intensity, especially because of that staining effect it has. The only thing that it really cannot handle is anything too oily. So a greasy burger, if that's what you're having, or you know, something that's a bit more greasy food-wise, that's not gonna, like, it's not gonna last. The best way to take these off at the end of the day is with an oil-based cleanser. Then they come off completely, and maybe a double cleanse if need be. But I have not woken up the next day with like still red lips or anything like that. But these are super long lasting. I really enjoyed doing this roundup for you. I really hoped you enjoyed watching this roundup because I really enjoyed it. I think I can do another one of these in the future. I already mentioned because I love some of these, I did purchase some other shades. So if you just want to see shades and some of the formulas I love, then definitely stay tuned for that because that order is making its way to me as we speak. So yeah, I got more. I know. I shouldn't be buying any more lip products, but that's just the way I feel about all of these. So yeah, thank you so very much for joining me today. I hope you really enjoyed the video. Thumbs it up if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more by me. I'm not sure when this video is going to go live just yet. Whether this is going to go first or whether my BB cream overview is going to go first, I don't know yet. But yeah, I think I still have a couple of K-beauty videos in store for you. Later this month, I definitely will be reviewing some K-beauty eyeshadow palettes. So I'm not going anywhere when it comes to K-beauty stuff. I really enjoy what they do, and I love trying out a lot of K-beauty products. So if you still have any recommendations of things you'd like to see me try, then that's of course possible as well. And for now, I would like to thank you for watching, and then I hope to see you in my next one. Bye-bye!